What's going on, guys? My name is John Solo, and welcome to Plot Twist, the show where we talk about some of the changes your favorite movies went through before they became movies. Today we are talking about Zootopia. Zootopia was released in 2016 and was loved by both critics and audiences alike. The movie follows Officer Judy Hopps and con artist Nick Wilde as they unravel a conspiracy involving the disappearance of predator civilians within their anthropomorphic animal metropolis. I've got to say that I fell in love with this movie immediately after watching it in theaters. It's got amazing characters, a compelling story, it's incredibly progressive and complex for a children's film. There's really nothing not to love. That being said, the story wasn't always this good. This episode of Plot Twist is going to be a little bit different. Instead of just spouting off a random number of little changes that were made to the plot, I'm going to share with you guys the films that Zootopia almost was. Interestingly, when Zootopia was first being conceptualized, it wasn't really anything like the final version of the movie outside of the title and its starring anthropomorphic characters. Believe it or not, it was originally going to be a spy movie. Yeah, a spy movie, a good old-fashioned Disney doctoring of another spy classic, 007. Apparently, the movie was to star a fox named Jack Savage, a character very similar in appearance to Nick Wilde, but was a bit more refined like James Bond. Over time, though, the story evolved and changed from an international spy movie into a police procedural. It still wasn't the Zootopia that we saw, though, because in this version, Nick was still in the lead and Judy Hopps was actually his sidekick. Then the writers decided to go in a different direction that was much darker than the final version. You see, Judy Hopps was given the police officer role, but she wasn't the optimistic, starry-eyed Judy that we all know. She was a cynical, no-nonsense, aggressive, seasoned police officer. Think Ice Cube from 21 Jump Street. Nick was still the movie's protagonist, but like Judy, his character was much different. He was a world-weary fox just scraping by in Zootopia, and not the cool, calm, and collected Nick Wilde that we all know and love. He wasn't confident or cunning, and actually was regularly harassed by a pack of rodents called the Gerbil Jerks. Another difference that you can spot in the concept art is that he isn't wearing his trademark Hawaiian shirt, but instead a suit and tie. This is because his father was a tailor. His buddy Finnick was actually going to be the one wearing the Hawaiian shirt in this story, or at least something similar, and he was even going to have a much bigger role than he ended up having. But when the focus of the movie shifted with Judy being the lead role and Nick being the sidekick, that idea ended up being written off. Just like in the theater release, in this story, predators were also prejudiced against and were even forced to wear shock collars called tame collars. The collars would electrocute them every time they felt a primitive instinct such as anger or excitement. You can actually see in some test footage a scene where Nick has his collar removed for the first time since getting it put on, and he's overcome with joy.
We're going to have to go ahead and temporarily remove your collar for the checkup.
Here we go.
Emotional stuff. The collars are one of the darker elements that I was referring to. As for the actual storyline, we don't know too many specific details, but what we do know is that Nick was going to be framed for a crime he didn't commit, and rough and tough Judy was going to chase him down. We also know that the movie was going to end with the abolishment of tame collars. However, according to the writers, the happy ending wasn't enough to redeem the dark world that they had created. And this is where the changes came along that made Zootopia the movie that we all know and love. The writers heard the thoughts of the test audiences who claimed that they just couldn't connect on an emotional level to Nick like they could to Judy, who at this point had already been changed to be less cynical. So they decided to rewrite the script, make Judy the main character, and the discrimination against predators more covert. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Disney Plot Twists. If you enjoyed it, make sure you click that like button, that share button, and subscribe for weekly Disney and Pixar content. This episode was really fun to research, and in the process I actually learned a whole lot of trivia, like a boatload of trivia that I think you guys might find interesting, and I kind of want to do a Secrets of Cinema about it. So if that's something you think you'd enjoy, make sure to leave me your thoughts down below, as well as comment any other suggestions you have for Disney and Pixar videos. I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Hope you have an awesome day.